And one of them had to do with the fact that I don't know how to use the gavel. And I thought that was amusing at first, but then I thought, well, maybe I don't know how to use the gavel, so I better learn how to do it. So I looked it up on Google, and I thought, yes, there are procedures for the gavel. It's sort of like Morse code, you know. It tells, I send out a message and you're supposed to receive it and understand the message. And I figured, well, if I send out the message and don't explain to you what the message is, it will be of no value. So here you can see, if I whack it once, it tells you to be seated, which you already are, so that's not a problem, or the results of a vote. Twice to call the meeting to order. And then when it's time to stand up and do the Pledge of Allegiance, instead of Jerry making an announcement, I'll hit it 3 times, and you'll know to stand up. So, Fred has graciously agreed to sit next to me in the line of danger as I wield the old hammer. So we'll start the meeting, and the first thing we'll do is, there we go. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This is fun. Okay, Jerry?
Yes, okay, so we're going to start with our introductions. Ooh, that's really loud. Okay, before we start the introductions, thank you all for passing the test and realizing we missed a page. So we apologize for that oversight. We're going to start. My name is Jerry Lupo, I'm your General Manager. We also have Eric Czar, Assistant General Manager, Lynn Tavernetti, Board President, Fred Weck, Board Director, Kevin Metcalf, Board Director, R.J. Hernandez, Board Director, Jeannie Glanville, Board Director, and Claudine Diaz, our Vice President and CFO. We also have Cindy Graves, our Activities Director, and Tad Creasy, our Regional Director from First Service Residential. Right, one of the first items on the agenda is to appoint to the vacant board seat, and the board had previously agreed that they would appoint the third person that received the highest votes from the special election. So at this time, I would ask for a motion to appoint Jerry Monahan.
I would like to make a motion to appoint Jerry Monahan as a board member.
I second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded that Jerry Glanville be added to the board. Appointed.
Jerry Monahan, not
Monahan, excuse me. Let's see, I think there was an email on that. Jerry Monahan be appointed to replace Gene Sandoval on our board. All in favor?
Aye.
Jerry, here to join us.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on our agenda is to appoint the Vice President and Secretary. As we now have a full slated board, Claudine has graciously resigned as Vice President, so that position is open for appointment.
I would like to nominate Ms. Glanville for the position of Vice President.
Second? Second. That's been moved and seconded that
Do you accept, Jeannie?
Jeannie Glanville be appointed as our Vice President. All in favor?
Aye.
Passed.
Okay, next position is Secretary, that to be appointed.
And I would like to nominate Fred Weck as secretary.
And I would like to second
Okay?
Motion.
It's been moved and seconded that Fred Weck be appointed as secretary to the board. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
My nerves can't take that. We gotta find another way. Okay, next item on our agenda is appoint committee liaisons. Again, now that we have a 7-member board, we can go ahead and distribute the committee liaison positions equitably. So we'll go ahead and start with the first committee, which is the architectural committee. Is there any recommendations?
I'd like to be on the liaison for the architectural committee.
Does anybody wish to run against Claudine for the position? Throw down, WWF?
Are we going to vote each time?
No.
Okay.
All right, so Claudine for architectural liaison. How about bistro liaison?
I'd like to be
We can make this easy. Do you want to accept all the, all the positions that can make it simple?
but I also want finance. So I don't want to do everything.
Can we nominate other people?
Yes.
You can.
I would like to nominate Jerry Monahan to be on the Bistro Committee as a liaison.
You accept?
Yes.
Great. Okay. Communication.
I'd like to nominate Lynn Tavernetti.
Okay. Emergency preparedness.
I'd like to nominate Lynn Tavernetti.
No, put Fred on there.
Oh, but Fred, I'd like to nominate Fred.
Okay. Finance. I think Claudine.
I'd like to be finance.
Okay. Landscape.
I'd like to nominate Lynn Tavernetti.
No, I'd like to nominate Jerry.
I second the Jerry nomination.
You accept?
I'll take it, yes.
Okay. Jerry Monahan.
That's good.
All right. Planning and Transition Committee.
I'd like to be on that.
Rules and regulations. Jeannie. Safeties and facilities. Fred. Social. Jeannie. Ad hoc technology.
No one's stepping.
Jeannie. Thank you, Jeannie. Okay. I think that covers all our bases. Okay, so, how, planning was Lynn. Landscape is Jerry Monahan. Okay. So can we have a motion for the appointment of those stated to the committees?
I make a motion to approve those stated people who volunteered for the committee board liaison position.
And I'd like to second.
It's been moved and seconded that we nominate or appoint the liaisons as previously indicated. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Yes. Okay. All right, our next item on the agenda is the announcements. I have one myself and Lynn has two. The announcement is we will be holding a town hall meeting on August 23rd at 6 p.m. here in the ballroom. The topic is to discuss committee term limits. So tell your neighbors and please come. Lynn?
Okay. The board, and I'm sure everyone here at Four Seasons, wants to honor the memory of Gene Sandoval's service here in our community. We've had a couple of suggestions about naming a room or a building or something of that nature, and this morning we went slightly different. And the reason is, whatever we do, we set a precedent that will follow for other boards and other members here in the community. Also, we want something that does more than just recognize one individual act or duty that a person performed. So what we thought we would do is take the small garden area that's down there. It's a circular one. You have a picture of it? By the pickleball courts and the tennis courts. It's round, and it's got one of those beer can statues in it. And we would designate that as a memorial garden. And in the memorial garden, we would, on a special day, honor Jean's memory. If you attended the ceremony we had here for Jean, one of the people who spoke said, "Would the nurses stand up?" And 20 nurses stood up. And Jean was, all of her adult life, a nurse, even when she was here with us. So we thought we would use that as a way to honor her. May 6th is Nurses Day every year. And so we would plant a rose on May 6th and mark it as Jean's rose. And we would select the Florence Nightingale rose as the one to be planted. And then this would give people all year long, anytime they walk past there, an opportunity to see it and remember her. And also it would give us one day of the year when we could actually go down and pay a special tribute. So that's what we decided.
Second announcement?
Okay. We are a growing political force within the city of Beaumont. Everybody who's out here is old enough to vote. And so that's not gone unrecognized by the people running for office or the people who are spending our money. And as a result, they want to interact with us a little more formally, and we certainly want to exert our influence with the different boards and councils and commissions within the city. And so it seems to us that we need to have something that we're calling a community ambassador who gets involved in all these meetings to alert us when we need to weigh in or to speak as our voice when asked. And so we thought we would create this position and see if we could find someone who's already doing that. And we did. And her name is Anita Worthen. And we're going to appoint her as our community ambassador and give her a real title for all the work she's doing.
Does she know? Does Anita know?
To my knowledge, she has not a clue. Because she's out doing community ambassadorial work right now.
Should I make a motion? I'd like to make a motion first that we create this community ambassador to be our liaison between the city of Beaumont and us on a lot of legal issues and community issues. And then as part of that, I'd like to nominate Anita Worthen as our community ambassador.
Do it in two.
Do this in two, let's do it in two motions. Create the position and then appoint Anita to the
I'd like to
position.
create the position of community ambassador.
I'll second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded to create a position of community ambassador. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Anita Worthen as the community ambassador.
And I second the motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to appoint Anita Worthen as our community ambassador. All in favor?
Aye.
Any other announcements? If not, we'll go ahead and move into homeowner input, which is limited to 3 minutes per homeowner, and only one request to speak form may be submitted per homeowner. There will be no sharing or passing of time to another person. Homeowner input may be held for a maximum period of 30 minutes before the board meeting begins to allow the board to proceed with the business portion of the meeting. This portion of the meeting is limited to board participation only. Residents are welcome and encouraged to stay for the full meeting to witness the business of the corporation taking place by your governing agents. And our first speaker is Sherry Howard. Come on down.
Hi, Sherry Howard, 266 Mission Trail, and it's on behalf of the Archibald Courts. We need shade, and my suggestion, or I'm asking the board, if there's somehow we can get some sort of shade up there. I proposed it before, and we were told basically no, because they don't want to block anybody's view. But there are umbrellas there now that would be adequate, except for we were told that they don't want the wheels on the dirt. I think it's a little bit more important that us people who play in the heat, we have some shade. I know there's a way out there somewhere it can be figured out, and it doesn't have to be any higher than the umbrellas they have now. And even in the morning, it's hot. In the evening, it's still sunny and hot. So, you know, if we please would like you to address it. And I also like to welcome the new board. Thank you so much.
Okay, next speaker is Donna Lewis.
Donna Lewis, I live at 1554 Bighorn, and I want to congratulate all of our board, the 5 homeowners, the 2 have been on for a few months, and the 3 that are recent. I mean, it's a big job, and I thank you guys for that. You have to listen to all 1,300 of us homeowners, so that's really big if you volunteer to do that. And what I want to bring up 2 things. One thing is as this goes on, we just voted for 2 seats, and all of a sudden, the builder gave up 2 more seats, and we voted for 2 more positions. So Jerry got a temporary position that's going to be up in a year. But 4 years from now, 2 years from now, guess what? We have 4 members coming up for re-election. I think that's a lot of people to come up for re-election at the same time, and I don't think the builder's going to be, I think he's still going to be building. And I just think that maybe we should take a look and see how we can solve that, because I would, you know, not that all 4 members would go off the board, but that seems to be a lot of seats, you know, 4 to 1 going up at one time. And almost municipal, you know, they kind of split that up to where it would be 2 and 3 or something. But anyway, my main issue is fencing on the south end of 4 Seasons. I live in D3, we've been there for a year. Bighorn, Madeira Creek, Savannah Creek, Lantern Bridge. No fencing in our area. Some people think that, oh, well, you know, it's a long way for somebody to walk up there and get on your property. I'm probably on the younger end here. I could walk up there, no problem. We've got a lot of motorcycles up there. They could walk off that hill, no problem. A lot of young people are already breaking the law. A lot of people here don't realize I keep hearing secure the Breckenridge Gate. The Breckenridge Gate only stops somebody from coming in by car. There's no fence south of Breckenridge Gate that is stopping anybody from coming off the hill. I brought it up to the builder. At first they told me no. They called me back and said they are reconsidering fencing in that area. I hope they're considering something better than what's up off at Glacier Park and above, because that's a corral fencing that anybody can just step over or walk around. Just an example, my husband and I, probably a year and a half ago before we moved here, my daughter lives over, you know, not too off of Manzanita, and we walked up through Seneca and we came down the Edison easement. The only thing that stopped us from coming on to 4 Seasons was the gate there at 4 Seasons Circle. So of course we turned around and walked back the other way. But on the whole south end, there's just a lot of open territory up there. There are people getting things stolen out of their yards and stuff. People can simply walk off that hill and into our neighborhood. And it's not just a D3, D4, D5, D6 issue. It's a community issue. And I would like to make sure that, you know, as D3 isn't turned over yet, and I really think that we need to look at the builder, and we need to make sure that, you know, if this is a gated community, it can't just mean there's gates there. So, and it's okay if you pass these in? Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. Our next speaker is Gail Lindboom. I know I mess it up every time.
Mr. President, members of the board, my name is Gail Lundamoon, 374 Prospect Park. I want to thank the two board people for volunteering their time to be on this board, giving up their time, where some people in this community do not. So I appreciate you giving your time to this community that I love. My question probably can be answered very quickly by Jerry. I'm a huge swimmer up at the Summit Pool. My understanding the Summit Pool was for residents only. Is that correct or incorrect?
It is for adult users. No guests under the age of 18 are permitted. Guests are permitted during open swim time only. Lap swimming, walking swimming, or exercise class, guests are not invited.
So the answer would be adult children of residents are
Yes.
allowed in the Summit Pool.
During open swim times.
Okay, so thank you for that. So then my next question goes to, I don't swim down here at the big lodge pool. I strictly swim at the Summit because I'm a serious swimmer. But I've been told by a number of homeowners that on more than one occasion, there are homeowners here that are dropping off their grandkids and coming into Smitty's to eat lunch, leaving their grandkids out at this pool unsupervised. And I guess we had an incident a couple weeks ago that nobody's claiming responsibility for. I think as homeowners, all of us here, I love this community, and I moved here because of the facilities and the grounds, and it's a beautiful community, and I think we need to respect it and keep it that way. So, once again, I always struggle with homeowners having to police homeowners. I don't know what the answer is out here because it's a tough situation to monitor who's in the workout room during prime hours. Are they guests? My understanding is only for homeowners. Is that correct? Okay. So it's a difficult situation to police. My problem is as more and more people move in, and I realize some homeowners get their packet and they don't know the rules and maybe they don't care or they're just unaware. But I don't want to see this community, the facilities get ruined. So I am concerned about that. So I'm just hoping that all this can pull together and find a way to work these problems out. Because if we are having kids at the pool, and I love grandkids, but they shouldn't be there unsupervised. I think we have a responsibility to the rest of the homeowners here. So thank you.
Okay, next speaker, Noel Myers.
Noel Myers, 1447 Rock Mountain Park. Welcome to the entire formal board. Thank you for your service and continued service. I also want to thank the board for their action taken on reducing the opening of the summit to 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm not sure, but I don't fully understand why it was just for 2 months. The budget runs through the end of the year. The budget is adequate to have it open at 7 in the morning for the remainder of the year. So I would ask that you consider continuing those hours from 7 to 9 at the summit, at least through the end of the year. And not to be greedy, but would like to see it for the entire year forthcoming. One other thing that should be taken into consideration, at some point we will have the third recreation unit. In my opinion, it would be nice if all units had the same hours of operation. And if you'll consider that, I'd appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Our next speaker is Jackie Snedden.
Good afternoon, Jackie Smith.
1579 Turtle Creek. I too want to congratulate you on your endeavors in the next few years and wish you all well. I was shaking my head when I left the board meeting last month, because why should we as an adult community have to hire extra babysitters for our pool during the hours of 1 and 4? It appears that some of our residents do not feel that the rules in our pool areas belong to them, or that they should make sure that their grandchildren are acting appropriately in the pool. This year, we'll probably spend a little over $2,600, and if this is an ongoing situation, we could go up to $10,000 in future years. I think that these adults should be reminded that having guests at our pool is a privilege, and that that privilege can be taken away. I would hope that the board is taking individual action on the people that are seeing that our rules are not meant for them. The other thing is, Lynn, I was a little disappointed on your article in Breezes last month regarding security of our community. Yes, we have issues, and as the previous homeowner said, there are times when we're building out that we have more open area and easier access. However, as we fence and as we close, those become reduced. We've had incidents of crimes of opportunity when the people have left their cars unlocked in their driveways and they have been burglarized. That's happened twice in the last 10 years. We have instances of vandalism. But I have to say that it seems that the most damage that we have in any of our common areas have actually been caused by our residents themselves. And I don't think that putting a bad light or giving the impression that we have the boogeyman at our doorstep is really a way to approach how this community is, and that we are a safe place to live. We're not gated, we don't have security concertinas all around us, so we have to take some individual responsibility on protecting our property. Thank you.
Okay, our next speaker is Chris Ray.
Hello, and thank you to the board for everything you do, because not all of us would do it. My name is Chris Ray. I live at 478 Glacier Park, which is the end of Glacier Park. And if the fencing comes up, it completely encloses my front yard with the exception of 18 inches. So if I look out my front window, it's going to look like I'm in jail. I came here to Four Seasons, not with the expectation that K-Hub and Four Seasons was going to provide me with everything. But the deal is a 6-foot fence, wrought iron, or like ours on the side with brick and wrought iron, will not work. My husband has a video of me being able to get over that fence without the least bit of trouble. If you do that and fence that, what are we going to do at Highland Springs? It's the same thing. All these kids need to do if they're coming in for mischief, and it's probably kids because they can't drive and they can't get in the gate. All we have to do is stick their hands underneath the fence, give somebody an alley-oop, and up they go over the fence. I came here for the openness and the feeling of free space and country living. I didn't feel to be completely enclosed in a 6-foot fence, which encompasses my whole front yard. And then going across from me is another 6-foot wrought iron fence. I don't want to live in the inner city, and I don't want to look like I live in the inner city. I think to be better neighbors and friends, we need to work together as a group. Get to know your neighbors, get to know who you can call. If you see something, respond that way. But please don't make our community be closed in and look like we're not out in the country and make everybody think, oh my gosh, those old people at Four Seasons are really afraid. And if you are a kid and come in trying to do shenanigans, let's face it, if they think they get in a completely gated community, they're going to brag to their friends. Look what we did. We got in there. So it's just an open invitation for them all to try. I taught 5th, 6th, 7th grade. Okay, thank you.
Okay, our next speaker is Judy Irving.
Judy Irving, 1530 Bloomington Park. And first of all, I would like to congratulate all the people on the board and the residents who elected such good people. Okay. My purpose is to thank all of our residents, 150 of you who attended the Neighborhood Watch National Night Out last night. We were very pleased to have the Highway Patrol represented, Beaumont's Chief of Police, Banning's Chief of Police, and several of his officers. We also had the mayors from Beaumont, a city council member, and the finance director. They wanted you to know how much they appreciate being invited to Four Seasons because they perceive us as friendly, warm, and welcoming, which means that we want to continue that communication with them. If we see something, say something, call, if it's an emergency, 911. If it's a non-emergency, please call the non-emergency number. And then please notify the person at the lodge desk. They do incident reporting. We need to be keeping records so that, you know, if we have the same people jumping over fences or causing problems, we're all working together on it. The other thing I would like to say is I'm so pleased that you have recognized the gift of Anita Warden to get tremendous speakers to come to our Neighborhood Watch meetings. And as an ambassador, I don't think you could have picked anyone else that's better qualified. So thank you on behalf of the steering committee. And don't forget, we will have a Bach Captain's training in September on the 17th. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. Okay, the next item on our, that's the last of the homeowner speaker forms I've received. Next item on our agenda is the consent calendar, and the purpose of the consent calendar is to make a simple motion to approve all included items. If for a particular reason an item needs to be discussed or pulled from the consent calendar, then a call to remove that item should be made by a board member. What's included on our consent calendar today are the approval of the July 14th, 2016 meeting minutes, June 2016 financial statements, implementation of the investment plan as recommended by the Finance Committee, and there are no liens or foreclosure actions for today. Need a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the consent calendar as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the consent calendar. All in favor? Aye.
Okay, the next, oh, he's going to hit the gavel, okay. Okay, our next item is the Chief Financial Officer's report. Claudine?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to do a little bit different on my presentation. Rather than a financial presentation, I leave that to our financial committee chairperson. I'm going to talk about the committees. I'm just going to basically talk about committees, kind of what they do, and then each month I'm going to mention the different committees and give you an idea of what their responsibilities are. The committees are Four Seasons. They are the backbone of our community. When the community was developed in 2005, 7 initial standing committees were formed, and additional committees were formed as needed, as was today another committee. These committees include the architectural review, the bistro, communications, emergency preparedness, finance, landscape, rules and regulations, safety and facilities, and the social committee. Ad hoc committees are also selected and set up to handle major projects as they are required. Each committee has 7 member boards, and the committees should represent, and I hopefully now as we're growing larger and larger, a very good cross-section of our community. A chairperson is selected, and that chairperson then appoints a secretary. When there is a vacancy on the committees, an interested member puts in an application, must attend at least 3 meetings, is then interviewed and selected by the chairperson the liaison, and one of staff members. Normally, each committee meets once a month, with the exception of the Agricultural Committee, which meets at this point twice a month. So the requirements of you as a homeowner is asking of you 2 hours a month to participate in these types of committees. The requirements of the committees are shown in the common rules of all committees, pages 1 through 3, so if you want more information, you can check your common rules. Each committee has a specific responsibility, and those are also outlined in their charter, and they're listed in the community guidelines. Today, it is the Agricultural Review Committee. They do a lot of work. They ensure that there is consistency in the exterior improvement of our modifications and ensure that the beautification of our community continues. And as I state, if you sit in on one of those meetings, you really see how intense they get and how in depth they go into each individual application that's been submitted. The new homeowners are required to submit an application for their exterior plans, for their backyards, and this is to be done within 4 months of the close of escrow. And the project is to be completed within 8 months of the escrow. Currently, any changes to the existing homeowner's exterior, front yard, backyards, you have to also submit an application and have that reviewed and approved by the Agricultural Committee. All committees are open to all homeowners, and I would recommend attending 1 or 2 of those committees throughout the month and see what's happening and have an idea of what they really do, because they take care of us. They keep an eye on us. They want to make sure that we always look, as we bought these homes, to look beautiful. I like to go down my street and know that I don't have cars piled up on top of each other and junk sitting in my front yard, and images out there that, you know, with bears and ducks and things that really become overwhelming and kind of takes away from your pretty front yard. So I really would recommend that sit in on these committees. They're in the AM news every day. They're also printed in the Breeze. And I've learned more by attending these committees. I've gone to every single one of them at least once, twice, as a liaison or just as a community member. So please see what you can do to enjoy and see what they really do. They do a lot of work. Thank you.
Our next item on the agenda is to report on the executive session or action taken between meetings. There was an executive session held this morning at 9 a.m. During that executive session, the board addressed 6 delinquency hearings, 4 enforcement hearings. There were no contracts up for renewal this month. They reviewed legal correspondence. No action was taken. They also reviewed the current staffing levels and the needs for Rec Center 3. So we'll go ahead and start our committee reports, resignations, appointments, and information. We'll start with the Architectural Committee.
Hello there, neighbors, and good afternoon to the board. Congratulations, Jeannie, Jerry, and Fred. Welcome. It'll be great working with all of you. On the Architectural Committee, we had a busy month in July. We had 13 new submissions, of which all were approved. We had 35 addendums or amendments, of which 33 were approved and 2 were disapproved. And the notice of completions, or the evaluation of the work after, was done by the homeowner. We had 31 of those, and 27 were completed, 4 are currently outstanding. And during the month, our guest attendance was down a little. We only had 7 visit us during the month. But we also had some other things that went on. The board requested that we meet with Kevin and the KHUB sales staff, so Brian Anderson and I did that. I thought it was a great meeting, and we clarified some things as far as the initial requirements for a homeowner. With that, we developed kind of an informational piece from the Architectural Committee to a new homeowner that the salespeople can use should they have questions or clarifications. at that point, rather than referring them to page 2023 of the papers they have. But we took that a little bit further, which I thought was great, so we kind of killed two birds with one stone. And Nellie, or the First Service staff, is going to begin using that with the orientation with new homeowners when they come in for their fobs and all that. So they'll have that right in front of them, again, instead of trying to search through their pages. So Len, that was a great suggestion. I think we really got some mileage out of really one effort and two different ways to use it. We also began our discussion, as Len requested, for an EPC liaison from our committee. And the article in the Breeze, we're now going to focus on a clarification or information to the homeowner. So you'll see that in the September Breeze. Brian suggested we clarify the $125 initial application fee so homeowners better understand what is it for, when is it paid, and how does that go. So that's what you'll see in the September Breeze article. The architectural review guidelines have gone through their 30-day period. I misspoke last month telling you they were already effective. They can't be effective till the board approves them, which is on the calendar today. So our next ARC meeting, we will begin using the revised guidelines. Let's see, we meet the first and third Wednesday of each month, and again, we encourage homeowners to attend the meetings, especially when they have an involved submission that we can get clarification and questions answered at that time. Currently, we do not have an open position, which is great, but would encourage homeowners to come and understand what our committee is about so that when we do have an opening, we would have somebody already qualified. We did review our charter as well. We feel the charter outlines our responsibilities, but with that, we also developed qualifications of individual candidates to be on the Architectural Review Committee. The committee decided that we use that as a working document rather than make it part of our charter so that we could change that when needed. We would also provide that to candidates so they understand what we're looking for and use it in our interviews as well. So we were having kind of a busy month, so that was it. Any questions from the board? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Our next committee is the Bistro Committee. Jill?
This time. I'm Jill Anderson, chairperson of the Bistro Committee, and like everyone else, it's a very historical event to look over there and see that we have 5 board members now that are homeowners. Congratulations to the 3 of you, and the Bistro Committee is looking forward to working with you in the near future and along the way. The Bistro Committee met on July 28th, and we had 1 guest and we had 6 applicants. 1 applicant was out of town, so we have another one. So that makes 7 people lined up to join our committee, which is great. At the end of August, we will have our interviews and we'll look over who's going to fill at least 3 of those positions. Brian from Smitty's was also present at our last meeting. Any old business, as you can see, the new deli case is in and everyone likes it, and it's alleviated a lot of work for Smitty and the staff. Sapphire and Smitty met with a consulting company, which I mentioned last month, that came and gave a tour of the kitchen, the counter areas, to kind of give some recommendations that could help improve better service and faster service. A proposal, it will be coming, and we hope to have 2 more vendors to give their proposals also. The coffee vending machine is still a work in progress. Smitty met with 1, and he needs to get 2 more coffee vendors to come out and give him kind of what they would do for us. The new business is that we have suggested that Smitty have a designated drink line, which I think everyone is going to think is a great idea on those busy, busy nights. You can have 1 line doing the ordering and another one just getting water, coffee, and soft drinks. And that's kind of a work in progress that Smitty thinks is going to be in probably in the near future, very near future, he's going to instill that. He also suggested that meetings and committee members, committee groups, and clubs not meet in the old conference room, which is next to the bistro, because I guess sometimes in the evenings we're taking away the space that's needed for the Smitty customers. So he has kind of suggested that most of us will meet in the new conference room, and he has said, as far as the bistro committee knows, that he will attend that meeting even though it's a further walk, which I laughed. He could use his golf cart. We have 2 proposals that we have submitted. One is to revamp the itinerary for our new homeowner meet and greets. And the second is it was brought to our attention, and I have also noticed that when Smitty parks his golf cart behind his car, it can be kind of detrimental to people walking, people driving, people in wheelchairs and on canes. So we have asked that possibly he could have a second space designated just for his golf cart. As we get more and more people, there's going to be more and more homeowner carryouts, and right now he uses his car and his golf cart, and it would save a lot of time if both of them were parked outside his entrance. And also I almost forgot that Ann Blair has been named the Bistro co-chair. Looking really forward to having a co-chair, so we're going to work together very well. As always, we love guests, we encourage people to come. I can't tell you how many suggestions, how many criticisms, how much input we've gotten from people that have visited our committees. We now meet on the 4th Wednesday of each month. I keep making Eric have cardiac arrest by changing our dates, but the next meeting will be the 4th Wednesday of August at 11 o'clock in the new RCN building. Thank you.
Thank you, Jill. Our next committee is communication.
We've had a normal month. We've finished the proofing on the briefs, just waiting for the final articles coming in. We've met again dealing with our website and are looking at other alternatives in addition to the expansion of what we currently have on the website. And we've also been working on updating our charter, which has probably been completed, but we as a committee need to review it one more time before we forward it to the board. That's it.
Our next committee is emergency preparedness.
Good afternoon. Like about 50 other people, I'd like to congratulate the board, the new board members, and we appreciate them volunteering for an arduous job. Emergency preparedness, I had my own emergency this morning. I was told I had to give this report just this morning, so I had to make an emergency preparedness of the report. But just to get on what we've done, on July 7th, we did have our EPP program. As you know, we have EPC, which is the Emergency Preparedness Committee, and then we have EPP, which is the Emergency Preparedness Program, or some other P word if you want to put it in there. We had a program that Frank Riley, a captain from our local fire station, came and gave us a program on wildland fires and what type of disasters they can create for us, and we have had close fires to us since this facility has been open. Also, Len Tavernetti gave a program on his personal experience of being in a wildfire near his home in the mountains, and the old fire it was called, and he gave a very informative program on what it's like to be there when the fire is all around you. So it was a very good program. The only problem was only about 20 people came. And what we find is that because we're always yelling, the sky is falling, people tend to tune emergency preparedness out. And so it's hard to keep that enthusiasm going constantly when nothing ever happens. And we don't want an earthquake, we don't want a fire to sweep through our community, but certainly we have to be prepared for those entities, and it's worthwhile to get the education that's made available to you. In regards to that, we talked about changing how we do some of these classes, and we liked the format we had last time where we had 2 short programs. And we think that might be a good way to do these programs and have 2 items where people could get information on more than one thing and not sit there for an hour listening to one program but go from one to another. So we're going to try to do that. Another thing we wanted to do was all of you, when you moved in here, received a copy, I believe, of the action plan and the emergency handbook, or at least the emergency handbook. And most of you, I know, probably don't know where that is. It's somewhere in your house, you put it away, it's just not any place that you can remember, and you probably never looked at it to begin with. And we think we need, probably because we've got a lot of new residents since more houses have been sold and built, that we should probably have one of our classes be a review of these handbooks. and see if we can get more interest in that, more knowledge of those things. The emergency handbook is very good. It has lots of things in it related to first aid, how to maintain potable water, sanitation, all sorts of items that you would need in the event of a major earthquake or other disasters. So it's an important book, so try to find it again wherever you stuck it. We also talked about maybe some joint programs with Neighborhood Watch, and I think we'll kind of keep revisiting that. The only other thing is CERT training. That's Citizens Emergency Response Teams. That's you citizens that take training and then can respond during emergencies and help your neighbors. And the city of Beaumont is going to have some more CERT training. They kind of had a lull between the personnel that they had that we were putting on the training left the city, retired, and so they're now finally getting up to speed. So when we get those dates completely available and accurate, we'll make sure they're broadcast for everyone that would like to get CERT training. It's a good class. Even though I'm a retired firefighter, I took it. And I learned something, even though I thought I knew it all. And then our last Breeze article was an update from the first aid team and some information on heat exhaustion and what to do with hot weather. And I think if all of you had a chance to read that, you'll find it was very important. Our next meeting is August 16th at 10 a.m. over in the RNC and or RCN, and we'd be glad to have anybody attend that would like to be interested or even get on the committee. We do have vacancies. We now have a new vacancy because we had a resignation of Fred Weck, who then now I guess is coming back to us as board liaison, but we now have 2 vacancies. So anybody be interested, we're glad to have you and get you going. Thanks.
Before you go, the CERT training has been scheduled with the City of Beaumont. It's October 25th through the 27th, and you can register online through the City Hall website.
Okay. We'll get that information out before October.
Okay, our next committee is Finance.
Good afternoon, I'm Don Fan, Chairman of your Finance Committee. I'd like to welcome the new members of the board. And you poor guys from Cahill never get any mention at all. We're glad you're here too. So we have to stand up and take a little bow. Our last meeting was July 26th, Tuesday at 1 o'clock in the RCN building. We reviewed the month of June's financial statements. We had no CDs maturing, therefore there was no investment recommendations made to the board. We had 8 vendor proposals, 6 were forwarded to the board for approval, and I think we'll be taking a look at those in a little while. 5 homeowners were present, as well as Claudine Diaz, our board liaison. We have some financial numbers for you. Income for the month of June, actual was $342,743, budget $351,300. Variance at 85.57. Year-to-date income actual $2,019,530. Budget was $2,144,782, with a variance therefore of $125,252. Expenses for the month of June actual $336,436. Budget $363,679. Variance of $27,243 under budget. We're always proud to say that. Year-to-date actual $1,872,241. Budget $2,092,556. So we're coming in with a variance under budget of $220,315. Our net income for the month was $6,307. Year-to-date $147,289. Our next scheduled meeting is August 30th at 1 o'clock. We did have one vacancy. Can I mention this now?
They have to vote on it.
Okay, we have a vacancy that might be filled very shortly. Next meeting Tuesday, August 30th, 1 o'clock. Come on out and join us. We'd love to have you. financial fun and frolic.
Thank you for making the finances interesting and fun. Thank you, Don. Okay, as Don said, there is an opening, and through the interviews of 2 candidates and recommendations, the Finance Committee is recommending Tom Mull be appointed to the open position, so I will need a board motion.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the appointment of Tom Mull to the Finance Committee.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we add Tom Hall to the Finance Committee. All in favor? Aye.
Congratulations. Now, Don, you can shake his hand. Okay, our next committee is Landscape. Richard?
Richard Hoffman, Landscape Committee. I'd like to congratulate the new members of the board. The Landscape Committee is now capped at 7 members. In addition, we have a new, proud new look. With our frequency and expanded walk schedule, Mondays, sometimes well, every Friday and Monday, we can now go into the community and be identified. Due to the increase of homeowners who come to our meetings with issues and concerns, it was discussed and voted by our committee to meet the second and fourth Monday of each month in order to cover our expanded agenda. Jerry, we will submit an amendment to the charter requesting this change. I would like to also acknowledge again Jeff Jordan and Guillermo Martinez, who collaborated in putting together an index catalog of plants, trees, flowers, grand coverings with pictures suitable for the challenges of our environment. I have been told that this is now out on the web for your viewing. Thank you.
Our next committee is Planning and Transition Committee.
My name is Willis Fagan, and I'm on a brand new committee that I don't even know everything that has to be done yet, but we're working on it. We're developing our schedules and plans and so forth, our strategy for this committee. Has the board taken into consideration our suggestion for our vision and mission and charter and name and committee members yet?
We haven't seen it. I haven't seen it.
It's in the packet.
Is it in the
Aha. Well, that was going to affect what I was going to report to you, but I'm assuming that it's okay, so I'll make my report anyway. We're hoping to have a name of Community Planning and Transition Committee. Each of these words has been carefully thought about and discussed, so it's not just some flippant name that sounds big and important. If I don't mention your committee or your interest group or your club or you by name today, don't worry, I'm not excluding you. We just haven't gotten to everybody that's going to be involved. The name community, as we see it, is us people. It's not the board, it's not the committee, it's not all kinds of other people out there, it's us. If we don't work together to plan our community properly, we won't have a good community in the future, and that's what we want to have. Planning. We're going to start by looking at the big picture of things. If a doorknob needs to be replaced, let's think about if the door needs to be replaced as well. Think about bigger pictures when we plan things. We will not be making decisions, nor will we operate in a vacuum. We want to diminish surprises, and we want to avoid mistakes. Those are important objectives for us.
The planning process, we don't have any preconceived ideas of how things should be put together and what things should be done right now. We're wide open. The first thing that we do in our planning is to decide and discover what and why. What do we need and why do we need it? Without knowing those things, we don't know how to solve anything. We need to have a basis for operating. Then we will discover how and when and where. How to make something happen and when and where. Costs will be considered in terms of energy and time, usability, and money. All of those things together. The cost needs to be appropriate to the benefit of what we do. We can't spend $150,000 for 5 people and $2,000 for 500 people. There has to be a good ratio. The initial cost is one of the costs that we will consider, and that is what it costs to do whatever the project is. But the cost of ownership is also going to be very important to us. What does it cost us to own whatever it is that we do? Maintenance, replacement, and things like that. The next word is transition, and this is twofold. One is when the developer leaves our community and everything is done, and we have to take over everything. All of the developments and assets belong to us, we the homeowners. What do we do? How do we plan for that? That's part of our charge. The other is the continuing transition. If you've been here for 10 years or 8 years or something, when we moved in here 10 or 8 years ago, this was fantastic. Now we're out of space. Things are wearing out. And there's a transition there that we have to think about as well. What about 10 more years or 20 more years or long after we're gone? It keeps transitioning, and we have to think about those things as well. The committee. Our committee members, I hope, are chosen because of their benefit to the community, not just because we find warm bodies to fill seats. And that's not a criticism of anybody, but we need very good people on this committee. We'll explain more how we work in the future, but right now I'm just hitting the broad brush strokes. We'll reach out to everybody in the community, but there's a means and a method of doing this that we are still working out. And we will talk to all the committees, all the groups, all the interests, and homeowners, as many as we can. Our committee is not a little clique. It's not an exclusive, secret organization where we make little decisions in back rooms and don't let anybody know about it. With all due respect, we are not puppets or minions of the board either. We'll work with the board fully and openly, but they're not pulling the strings behind us telling us what to do and how to do it. I appreciate that. We'll be careful not to select cronies. You know what a crony is? It's a real close friend that thinks the way you think and does the way you do things and decides and votes the way you want. We want all kinds of ideas on our committee. We want discussions and maybe even arguments and disagreements so that we come up with good solutions. We will not impose our personal views of things. We all have personal views, but we want to be open with those as well and welcome all ideas. We're going to dare to dream big. That's important because our community continues to grow. And we're going to look at the big picture and look toward a bright future. Our business and our objective is you, the people that live here. And finally, we want our Four Seasons community to be the best and to make it so good that people will stand in line waiting to come here and live here. Thank you.
On page 45 of the packet, this is the Community Planning and Transition Committee Charter. motion to adopt the charter?
I make a motion we adopt the charter as shown.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt the committee charter for the Community Planning and Transition Committee. All in favor?
Aye. Second item is to appoint the recommended committee members, Colin Taylor and Patricia Wayne.
I move we accept Colin Wayne and Patricia Wayne and Colin
Taylor.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we appoint Colin Taylor and Pat Wayne to the Community Planning and Transition Committee. All in favor?
Aye. Our next committee is Rules and Regulations. Carol?
I'm really glad that they decided to change their name, so I don't have to follow those all the time. Mine will be short compared to some of the well-prepared and thought-out things. First, I would also like to welcome all of the new board and the new liaisons to the committees, and I'm sure RJ and Kevin are very glad that that has happened. So, they don't have to worry about that anymore. At our last meeting, we did spend quite a bit of time on some of the things that people have brought up so far this morning that are dear and dear to their hearts. We will be looking at term limits after we have the town hall and we get all the recommendations from everyone, so we can write up a proposal and send it to the board for their approval on the committee term limits on how it finally all works out. Also, we are looking at the election procedure reviews. We will be going through and have appointed a subcommittee to look at the election procedures, and also that comes into view of the district delegates and cumulative voting during that procedures. So we haven't just forgotten all of that. We are looking to probably amend and change those so that it will be a more expedient way of voting for everyone. Our next meeting will be on September 13th in the Rec Center North Conference Room. And I forgot one other thing. We did talk about pool rules. Well, and about the need for the pool monitor. Unfortunately, it seems that some of our community members are thinking that this is just so they can drop people off or entertain whoever they want whenever they want. And they're forgetting that they are a homeowner, and there's a lot of homeowners here who would like to use the pools and do it by our rules. And we have the rules for a reason. So if you do continue to have any problems, please let the monitor know so that they can take care of that, or if you don't feel that that's being adequately taken care of, let the people at the desk know. Also, we looked at the use of pool noodles in the Summit pool, and basically you can use a pool noodle up there for lap walking, and you can use them anytime you want as long as it's not interfering with the activity that's going on that you are in the pool for. If you have any questions, please join us at the rules meeting. And as I said, it will be on September 16th in the Rec Center conference room. Thank you.
Carol, before you go, I have a quick question.
No.
For the election subcommittee, are
Yes.
there openings for that committee, or is that?
It's just a subcommittee within our committee
Okay.
right now to start. Any other questions?
Okay, our next committee is Safeties and Facilities.
Walking glasses versus reading glasses, sorry about that. The Safety Facilities meeting met here on 2 August. And we have an additional for the homeowner input. Before I do that, congratulations to all the people who are on the board that's been elected, and for the new liaisons. Liaisons are a great reward for all of us who are on committees. We understand that, and we thank you for that, and hope you're off and running and doing a job for us. Homeowner input, we had a large contingency for a dog park show up for the Safety Facilities Committee. What we did, we took the information that was given to us. We also reassigned that information to a subcommittee within the committee, I guess you could call it that, for 2 members who will be looking into that and doing some research on it. It's a rather complex issue that needs to be researched well and to be looked at over the long run. So we've done that. Let me do some unfinished business just to touch lightly on it. We're still looking into the UV lighting and automated system for the pools. That's for both the pool down here at the main lodge and especially the summit. The science, again, seems to be good on it, but we want to make sure that the bids are correct and that we understand where we're coming from on that, so we're still working on that issue. We have a lighting relamping proposal for the lodge here. We need to do some more research on that, and we're getting with Edison probably for a study to see what the energy use is, especially to convert both to LED. And again, any of these issues that we come across, you'll see it as a common denominator among all of our committees here, and that's money. We want to make sure that we're still within budget and want to make sure that we're not, one committee is not spending all the money that we have. We have a healthy reserve budget and also in the other budgets we've seen here, but we still must show a great deal of fiscal responsibility. So we're keeping that in mind as we're going through each of these items that we have. And again, to touch lightly on some stuff, we have furnishing for the summit spa area has been ordered and manufactured, so it's coming along the line somewhere. Bocce ball, we're still looking at that in the discussion level, places, how it works, what the cost is, what the old cost would be, maybe relocating it within the summit area, that type of thing. So we're still in the research on that, and that's not a final decision yet. We'll talk about some other items here. The soundboards in the RCN rooms, they're there, they work, but we believe in the committee that there needs to be more, because it's like an echo chamber still. We're getting there, but we're not there yet. So we're still working on that. Hot water sink at the summit's been complete, or scheduled to be completed. That'll really work out well for water savings, and we want to thank Keho for some assistance in that, especially from some guidance that we have in that part. The draperies have been cleaned. We have a machine now that does that, which is a lot better than taking everything here and shipping it out. Now they've been cleaned, and at least hopefully they're clean and won't catch on fire. That's our main goal. Ballroom ceiling repair has been rescheduled, and that was because of the memorial we had for June here, so we'll be doing some work on that. That's coming up here in this one. Lighting between the lodge and spa building. If you've ever been out here at night, there's a dark spot between point A and point B, and I understand that lighting issue, and we're getting some bids on it and looking at it. The lodge pool chair replacements, you can see where some of that has been delivered, and some of the pool stuff has been delivered. We have that. A little behind on that, but we're getting there from there. Upgraded projector, you've already will need another, especially when you see, where'd it go? There it is. We wanted to have a request, and we will be doing that shortly here. And other than that, that's where we're at. We have an array of other things that we have that we're reviewing, especially under new business, but that's just a light skim of the work which the committee is doing. Are there any questions from the board? Okay, thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Dennis. Our next committee is social. No representative. Okay, ad hoc technology. And Lynn, did you want to address the standing committee, or is that still under review? The standing committee participation in emergency planning. This is okay. So this will be tabled until next month. We did not have any club or group application requests. We did have homeowner facility use requests that are located on pages 55 through 57. On page 55, this is a request from the Riverside County Joint Terrorism Task Force, and they're requesting use of our facility and also request waiving the use fee.
Can I ask a question? As homeowners in Lieberman, can we participate in that?
No.
Or is it no?
No.
No?
No. They are gonna invite though our one guy, our safety and facility guy, which would be Dennis. Sorry, Dennis. And they are looking to invite our gate security, the top guy. It's not totally classified, but it's police sensitive. So they don't want it open. In fact, they're going to be checking if they're allowed to do it here. They would be checking police IDs, in fact, coming in to be sure. Just so you know.
So I would like to make a motion that we accept the application with the caveat that we do waive the use of the facility fee.
Second. It's been moved and seconded that we accept the application request for the planning for anti-terrorism and safety and waive the fee. All in favor? Aye.
Okay, our next item is our activity director's report. Cindy.
I'm so glad they approved that. Do you know how cool it is that they picked us to be able to bring, this is FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force with San Bernardino. There's going to be 300 police officers here from all over the area that really need this information. And as you know, so many, even our little Beaumont people, of course you know, their budgets have been severely cut. So they are working with a thread, but how great of an opportunity we have to look like super great supporters of safety through this area and to equip our great guys and girls to do that. So thanks, board. That is so great. And that's going to be November 14th and 15th. So if you see a giant descent of swarms of police officers, November 14th and 15th, don't be scared. You'll be totally more protected than you ever were in your life. So anyway, love that. Okay, so I'll move on. Piano night is going to be happening again, and it's going to be this time in the ballroom. Our little Sally White generously is offering to do that again, and she's threatening to bring a partner to play with her. So we'll see if that actually is able to come about. We're going to have dinner theater seating, tables, and you're welcome to get your dinner at Smitty's and come. It's going to be starting at 7 o'clock. So it's a tiny bit later, but the doors will be open, okay? So we'll have the doors open from 4:30 on so that you can bring it in if you like. And I have a feeling that we'll all actually end up more around the piano than really at our tables, because we like that homey family feel when we get together and sing with Sally. So don't be bored on that Friday night. Come on down. It's August. You want to know when, right, Vivian? August 26th at 7 p.m. And clubs and class events. The Hot Rock Group is going to be having a special movie night in the Lodge Theater on Saturday, August 13th at 6 p.m. And they're going to be viewing the award-winning movie called The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. And they're going to be having refreshments. And everybody's invited. So feel free to hang out with the Hot Rock Group. That's going to be a neat one. Karaoke is going to be on Saturday, August 20th at 5:30 p.m. And I will tell you, if you haven't been to karaoke lately, we have an incredibly packed house now. hugely packed, don't we? Yeah, and we have a lot of really great talent. So it is fun. I mean, it's not just about pointing and mocking anymore, people. It is about really having fun with listening to some great talent. And you, of course, can always bring your dinners and your favorite beverages also for that one. And of course, there's no cost to attend. So practice up in the tower and then just hop in and sing your favorite song. Amphitheater concert series, and that's happening Saturday, August 21st at 7 p.m. That is a really bad typo. It's actually Sunday, August 21st at 7 p.m. And I think you're going to love it. It better be good. I know it's going to be good. We've heard them, but we haven't had them before. But they are a little bit diva on their contracts. So I'm just telling you, they're going to play hard and good. We have a full brass section. It's like a Chicago, the band. It's like a Chicago-esque band. So Stan has his works cut out for him. And it is going to be wonderful down there with that nice summer breeze out there. So come, and don't forget, we do still have some newbies that are showing up at like 5 till 7. Okay, so I'm just saying, you might want to go down a little bit earlier just to see if you can find a piece of the grass. Because people are so excited about it, they just come down there and they're owning all kinds of lawn and legends. I'm just letting you know. So, okay, so there you go with that. Finally, on our events for this month, we've got our magic show put on by the International Brotherhood of Magicians. That's going to be cool in the movie theater. If you haven't been before, it is really a great time if you have grandkids visiting you. They do play to the kids as well as to the regular residents. And they have been bringing their youngest member, and I think he's what, like 13 or something? And he is a fantastic magician. So if you have kids, it's great. They'll be inspired to see this kid do it. That is Monday the 22nd and Saturday. Forget it. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's actually Saturday the 27th, but Monday the 22nd is when the sign-up sheet is going to go out on the desk, okay? We do it like a week ahead so that you can sign up for your preferred showing. There's 2 of them. So put it in there and have fun, but do realize there's only 25 seats in the movie theater. So it fills up really fast, doesn't it? And also, remember this. If you want to bring a tiny gratuity of any kind, your lunch money change, to help them out with gasoline, these guys all volunteer and they're driving afterward from all kinds of places to do this, and they generously do it for us for free. So if you so feel led and you really enjoy the show, it makes them feel warm and fuzzy if you tinkle their gas tank a little bit. And then how do you want me to do? Do you want me to talk about the vet's proposal now? Right after? Yeah, do? Okay. All right. And then, sorry, admin thing. So, you want me to go ahead and do the vet's proposal, and then do you want me to do the proposal to the proposal? Okay. After that?
You do what you want.
Okay. How unusual. Yeah. Excellent. Okay. So let's do the. All right. They already did the county deal. Oh, I have to tell you this. All right. So I did my 4th of July reconciliation and I turned it in. And guess what? When I asked for that extra $300 for trophies, remember that? Yes. Okay. Well, I did get it, right? But guess what I wasn't planning on? I wasn't planning on the fact that not only only did we have $300 worth of trophies for extra participants, but we also had extra participants to sign up for the potluck. So I saved almost $300 in food. So guess what? With my first budget, the only amount that I only went over, not 300 people, I only borrowed $1.57. So anyway, and a good time with how I okay, so I'm kind of excited. Actually, $1.45, sorry, I misspoke. All right, Veterans Day is coming up. You know how much we love Veterans Day around here. We love, love, love our vets. And I have a proposal because, of course, every year we have to do something special. And this year, let me read this little proposal for you. The day that I would like to propose for Veterans Day 2016 would be a day starting with an honor walk from the summit to the wreath ceremony grounds at the Four Seasons Veterans Tree in the morning at 11 a.m. Len helped me figure this all out, I'm just letting you know. We have the professional helping me here. And then I would like to have a special program in the evening at 6 p.m. with refreshments, opening with the VFW Color Guards, and then honoring the Blue Star family members. And before Len, this year, I did not even really know what the term Blue Star meant. And that is, help me, that is the folks like mothers, aunts, whatever, who have the family members who have active duty, right? Active duty soldiers currently or during war, right?
Yeah, they can be sailors too.
And they can be sailors too. That's right. We're not all about friends. Okay. All right, so we would be honoring them because we all know of how much the families support our wonderful soldiers and sailors. All right, and then, okay, so I was just thinking, wouldn't it be nice if we actually gave them a red or white or blue carnation to honor these wonderful supportive family members? Yes, it would. Okay, then I'd especially like to showcase, oh, I didn't finish that sentence. This is what I really want you to listen to because I need your help. I also want to be collecting, so if you have any, or if you know anyone who has any, some stories of folks that help to support the war efforts from the home front. Because there was so much that was done, and we really want to showcase our World War II veterans, because I hate to tell you, but we are losing them more than ever right now. So we want to take a big note of our wonderful World War II guys and showcase them this time, and include in that some of the cool stories that that the families did to support the war efforts. So can you call me if you hear of anybody and any stories, or you might have your own family stories, and that's what I'm really looking for. If your mom or dad or you or whoever, you know, were involved with making ribbons or whatever happened around here, right? Or even wherever you lived at the time. Call me. Also, our humble World War II veterans do not consider themselves heroes, as you know. However, we do. So if you happen to know any of them, I know a few, of course, but if you know of them, you especially, Mr. Dominguez, be collecting World War II vets because of our residents, and let me know, would you? Because they're not going to come forward. They're too humble. Just let me know so I can help to recognize them during our program. I would really appreciate that. All right, and there is this very cool program that we're going to add to that as well. Just a little deal. One of our World War II vets, Angie, just got selected for a wonderful program called Honor Flight. And what they do is they take the World War II vets who are what do you call that? Who were sent to them, names, right? And they put a Guardian Angel sponsor, and they put them on an airplane, and they sent them to Washington D.C. for the World War II memorial that they get to see, and it's a huge, amazing deal. I mean, I watched a little clip of it, and we're going to play the whole movie of the honor flight in the movie theater on that day, on Veterans Day, and you will be so moved at this program. It's mind-boggling. But Andy's going to share some of the cool experiences from his point of view, and then we can know, and if we know any World War II vets that we'd like to submit their names so they could benefit from it too, that would be a neat special thing as well. Sorry, this is way going like a big proposal. You basically got it, and then afterwards we'll we'll sing some patriotic songs together because we need to have our hearts swelling on that day. So there you go. Now here's what I'm asking for dollar-wise. What I'm asking for is, I'm asking for $575 for that day because I need to, it's well attended, as you know, so I need a veterans wreath to go on our little veterans tree. I need a veterans wreath, refreshments, that's actually where all the money, most of the money comes. Refreshments, tablecloth. We want to give our VFW Color Guard a gratuity and support that. And decorations and some carnations. So there you go. So it turns out to be $575, and of course I'll give back anything I don't use.
I'd like to make a motion that we allow Cindy to have $575.
Yeah, that's good.
$575 for Veterans Day service.
Second.
Yay!
It's been moved and seconded that we give Cindy whatever she wants. All in favor?
Okay, now here's a little tidbit that's going to be a surprise to you guys, sort of, because it just got handed to me yesterday. I am looking to see if we are able to have this event. That's all. I'm looking to see, what do you think if we should have this event? There's no cost to the association, but as you heard last night, those of you that went to National Night Out, we have a huge amount of individuals that are a little more concerned, especially women, a little more concerned about safety measures because it's been recently brought to our attention with purse snatchings, right? So anyway, it was recommended that we perhaps hold a safety class, and just so happens that Danae Noonan, the name might sound familiar at the end, Danae Noonan is John Noonan's daughter, who has a company called Safety First, and they've actually been doing some of these safety classes at other Four Seasons. And so they thought this might be a time where we would have interest here to go over some of that. And this is their little blurb that they say. They said, did you know that women aged 55 years plus are at a higher statistical percentage than other people of becoming a victim of violent crimes? Do you realize that predators are looking for easy targets? Old ladies are considered, none of you here are that, are considered prime targets by robbers, thieves, blah, blah, blah. No more. Protect yourself with easy to learn and simple to apply practical safety skills. Stay Safe Incorporated is a nonprofit company formed by a resident of the community's daughter, committed to teaching women of all ages how to stay safe in their own environment. Learn what personal characteristic would attract a predator to your person and property. Discover how your purse sends steal me signals to a criminal. Identify your personal safety zone and react appropriately to your fight or flight response. In being politically correct, putting you at risk for victimization. Learn this and more at the Lodge's Stay Safe Women's Personal Safety Class. The class they would like to hold is scheduled, pending your approval to have it, October 22nd from 10 a.m. to noon in the ballroom here. And the cost would be $20 for whoever was interested. Like I said, all it is what do you guys think about that? Getting permission to see if we have enough interest even to hold the class. If residents are interested in thinking that that's something they want to pay for. I mean, we're not doing, the association's not paying for it, and they have all their insurance. They have $1 million insurance. They've got the 2 additional insured covered that they could put on it for a one-day event and that kind of thing. So what do you think?
Due to the fact that one of our homeowners was accosted in the Albertsons parking lot, it might behoove us to learn something for our own protection. I like the idea.
Is this $20 a person?
$20 a person, but it's like our exercise classes. I mean, if you want to go, you pay, and if you don't come. You know, I mean, they don't care. I don't even know if we'll have enough to do it, but we've been having a lot of interest.
No.
When you said the 20, I can hear on both sides kind of negative.
Yeah.
If we got more people to do it, could we reduce that?
Maybe. I have little pull on that, but I can always ask. Yeah, I can always ask.
5 or 50 is the same, time.
Yeah. You want me to ask? I can ask. I mean, I know they've been charging other Four Seasons $20 a person to do it, but we could, I mean, we are pretty special, right? So we could.
Could we ask you if, is this for men and women or just women?
Actually, I think it should be for men and women, honestly. And I think all the skills that they would be teaching would apply to both. Especially like Eric, if you have a man bag. Right, Eric? So, yeah.
You don't know what's in it, though.
Okay, what do you think, you guys? Should we offer it to the residents? That's basically all we're asking.
Could you find out if they can just charge us one charge and we bring as many as we want? Because I have to believe it's not going to make any difference to the teacher. If you have 6 people or 12 people, you're going to teach the same syllabus, right?
Right.
So why don't we see if we can get a rate for the association?
So are you
and
saying
then make it free for all attendees?
So what you're saying is that the association is interested in paying for that at one price?
If the price is right.
If it's a flat rate, yeah.
What would that price right be?
$21.
What? What do you think it would? Because then I can help better.
Yeah, I was gonna say under 500.
Yeah. 500 or less.
500 or less? A not to exceed $500 offer?
Yes.
And you might get more attendees.
Oh, we so would. They love free things. I know. Good? I bet they'll go for it.
Okay.
Okay.
Want a proposal?
Somebody? Ready, go. Yeah.
Accommodate 50 people compared to 20 people.
Yes, because guess what? We can have it in the ballroom.
No, but
And the teacher.
Can the teacher, can that company handle?
Well, I know they have extra people too, so they could just assign extra people.
Okay, so I make a motion that we approve the training for our residents at a flat rate not to exceed $500 and make it free to the residents.
I second.
Been moved and seconded that we approve a cost not to exceed $500 for the purse snatching safety class.
That is so cool.
All in favor?
Yay! Safety first here, people. I think I'm done. Do you have any questions? Okay, bye.
Okay, I need to back up on the agenda.
Oh, wait, I forgot. I forgot the proposal to the proposal. I am so sorry. I'll do it really fast because I've been clowning around too much. Okay. Sorry about that, you guys. Oh, I am so sorry. This is actually important, and this is the whole reason Bob even sat through all this. Okay. I would like to propose a working policy that will go towards a working oh man, help me out. A working proposal for any club, group, or class that would like to submit a proposal to the board or to safety and facilities. Let me read it to you so you know exactly, and I won't mess anything up. Okay, I would like to recommend for consideration the following. As a working policy regarding clubs and groups that submit proposals that affect mutually shared facilities. All clubs and groups using shared facilities should be included in reviewing the proposal. That's the first one. There should be a measure of consensus between the groups regarding the facility proposal before it is sent to the Safety and Facilities Committee. Number 3, there should be a courtesy follow-up from the Safety and Facilities Committee or staff, I'll do it, to update the club or group that submitted the proposal in the first place, and any suggested change or modification to the proposal as written by the submitters, including but not limited to changes in part, that was helped, should be reviewed by the proposing club or group prior to proceeding with the process, regardless of who suggests the change. Sounds like legal terms, doesn't it? Okay, this is, let me explain to you really fast what's happening, okay? Go ahead.
Why don't you put it in writing, let's review it?
It's there. You have it.
Yeah, but I think we need to think about this.
Okay. Can I give you one example of why Bob is here and why we're here?
Can I stop you?
Yes, you can. Well, you can think about it and call me? Is that what you mean?
No, I think, we're just newly formed,
Yeah.
and this is a very complex piece of legislation, what you're saying, on staffing.
Okay.
And I think we need to discuss it a little further,
Okay.
the pros and cons of what you're saying, because
Okay.
we do things on, as you well know. I got this yesterday and we need to vote on it today. And what you're suggesting is a path like this that would take 2 weeks to do. So we need to find out how we shortcut it when we need to, how we don't shortcut it when we don't want to. And I think it takes a little more study.
Okay. All right. There you go.
Any comments from the board? Yeah.
I actually am going to disagree with you, Lynn. I think this is pretty straightforward. We're asking for committees to consider other committees when there's a shared facility and they want to make a recommendation to change.
Yeah.
So in terms of the facility itself.
I understand that. I just want to know how we do it. Do we do it by email? Do we give them 24 hours to concur or non-concur? What if they non-concur? Who arbitrates it? It's a process that she's talking about, and I have to understand how the process is going to work when there's objections.
Okay, I understand.
But does everybody understand why we're doing it, right?
I think so.
Okay.
Are you sure, Cindy?
What?
Are you sure you're done? Are you finished?
What did I forget?
I don't know, I'm asking.
I think I'm done.
Okay, great.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so let's back up to page 54 of the packet. Under the ad hoc technical committee, there was a notice that Steve Sarchett and David Holt resigned from the committee. The committee is also recommending the appointment of John Baroloni and Dave Chorba to the committee. So I would need a motion to, first of all, we'd like to recognize the 2 committee members that are resigning for their service, and then have a motion to appoint the 2 candidates to the committee.
Well, I'd like to thank Steve Sarchetti and David Holt for their service to the Ad hoc Technical Committee, and I'd like to recommend that we accept the 2 new candidates, John Barolone and Dave Chorba, to the committee.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept resignation of Steve Sarchett and Dave Holt, and appoint to replace them John Baroloni and Dave Chorba. All in favor?
Aye. Thank you. All right, on to management report, starting on page 61 through 96. This is our management updates and activity log. It's our report card on how we're doing and the amount of issues we're dealing with on a monthly basis. We were tracking 421 issues through the month of July. As of the end of July, we still had 212 issues that we were monitoring and working on. This is an ongoing number. It's not just for the month of July. This would include all the projects, all the architectural applications, all the correspondence, and all the homeowner suggestions that we're watching and working on. What I like to focus on is the response statistics, and within 2 hours, we responded to 377 issues. We always like to address them as soon as possible, make sure that they are in our system and the homeowners are receiving communication. Completion statistics, we did complete over 120 issues within 48 hours, 10 within 2 to 7 days, and 27 within 8 to 21 days, and 52 are over 21 days. Those are generally our architectural issues, and because they take time to complete, that's why they're within that time range. We did have 2 open board directives that we were monitoring, and there were 4 issues that the board addressed at executive session. Okay, then we had the correspondence log on pages 97 through 99. Was there any question regarding the list? Just basically is a list of all the correspondence that was, the written correspondence that was sent out to our residents. If not, then on pages 100 through 166, these are communications from homeowners and our response to those communications. In the packet on page 150, I just wanted to direct your attention to that request. Again, we do have a homeowner that is requesting we install fob systems at the side gates, one in between the lodge and the spa building, and one over between the lodge and the RCN building. And so I didn't know if the board wanted to review options or to submit that to a committee for consideration or have a discussion about it.
Well, I'm clearly in favor of having fobs at both of those locations, but I think we need to understand the physical impact and the cost-benefit analysis before we do that. So I'm going to ask for clarification as if that needs to go to safety and facilities or who that goes to.
Yes. We'll make sure to forward that to safety and facilities. Any questions on any of the other correspondence? All right, we have no unfinished business, so we'll go ahead and start with our new business items on page 167 and 168. This was a board request. This is, Lynn, did you want to give the background on the request about the Edison easement participation?
We currently have stored or stowed here within our community equipment that will be necessary in case of a significant emergency. Cots, tents, medical equipment, what have you. And no place to really store it, so it's in people's garages and attics. What we need is one place that we can store it that's got good access. And what we're proposing here is that we talk to Edison about having a place on the Edison easement that we could put a storage container, and it would be readily accessible to the EPP for storing equipment. It's kind of centrally located really to all the areas, and this would be big enough and out of the way. We could kind of hide it with some plants that wouldn't obstruct anybody's view of the mountains, but would kind of hide the container. And in order to do this, Edison says they need to come out and do a survey, which makes a lot of sense because they want to take a look at where their trucks drive, where the wires are and everything, and make sure that we don't endanger ourselves or disrupt the power supply. And to do the survey will cost $1,500. So what the proposal is to authorize the expense of $1,500 for Edison to do this survey. Keep in mind that that's a big wide swath of land, and we may in the future have other ideas about using some of that land. And once we get the survey done, hopefully that would be good for other potential uses. So,
Question, have we, or are we, have the intent of asking some of the homeowners that would be within that vicinity?
well, first we have to find out if it's doable.
And if it is?
Yeah, and I don't think it would be appropriate to go to the homeowner until we know what we're going to put there. You know, they'll say, well, show us a picture. And
I just want to make sure that.
yeah, we're going to do it baby step by baby step. And what this would do is, the first step is, can we do it? And so, you know.
I would like to make the recommendation that we allow the $1,500 for Edison to do their evaluation.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that we authorize expenditure of $1,500 for Edison to do a survey of our use of the Edison easement for association affairs. In favor?
Aye.
Passed.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is to review the possible separation of Safety and Facilities Committee. This is for board discussion.
Okay, I'll start it off. If you saw up on the screen when Dennis was talking, a very lengthy list of the workload that this committee currently has. You recognize the fact that we are going to pick up a third lodge, which will have a large number of items that will appear on the agenda of the Facilities Committee. And you couple that with the fact that we are concerned about our safety and security here, as we should be, and they will also have issues. It looks like we have a committee overload coming down the road, and I think we would be better served by separating facilities from safety into two separate committees. So, Dennis, would you like to address this?
You make a good point in what you're saying is that the workload of the Facilities Committee, if it was just under that title, is quite lengthy. You also have some of the other issues that are coming along with some of the interior signs that were passed back to the Safety and the Facilities Committee for consideration for looking at the future projects along with Willis area. We are going to be quite swamped, to be quite honest. Separating for a safety, originally there's a history behind it to where originally you had safety and then you had the facilities committees, and they were combined because there wasn't enough working issues for safety. However, when you're talking to community members throughout, we do have these safety issues that are coming about that are here now and that will not go away unless they're addressed. I believe that it's a very good idea to separate safety and facilities and form another safety committee just for that, because we're dealing with things like signage that's a part of the safety, which would be a good way of looking at it. Part of the speed zones that you have here. When we did a traffic survey that was quite lengthy, that information, I actually have that. That's one of my assignments where I'm at in another place, is to maintain that that record. We need to have more attention to the traffic survey that we have here, and safety would be a good issue, would be a good venue to put that into. So I'm all for it.
Members of the committee, the board,
Sounds reasonable. Definitely.
a proposal?
I'd like to make a motion that we split out safety and facilities to two separate committees to address safety within development charter for their.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we separate the facilities and the safety committees into two separate standing committees. All in favor?
Aye. And we thank you for that, actually. A very wise decision.
Please keep us informed how the separation works, and if there's any problems, we can help. Thank you.
Next item on our agenda is page 169, and this is the addition to the community guidelines on page 29, item 1, signs. It's the addition to, it's verbiage regarding how many the signs, the size and the placement of political signs. Currently, there is no rule regarding political signs, and the civil code states that we cannot restrict the ability of homeowners to put up political signs. However, we do have the right to establish guidelines. So this rule was created. It was sent out for homeowner input for 30 days. We received a total of 27 responses. 27. 15 agreed, 12 disagreed, and their written responses were included in your packet. So this is the opportunity to adopt the rule or make any modifications that you feel are necessary.
What is our population? What is our current population within our community?
1,406 homes.
Any discussion? So what do you need from us right now?
To either make a motion to adopt the rule or abandon it.
To adopt the rule, but we don't know what the rule says?
The rule says, it was sent out, it says only one political sign per candidate, a size of 18 by 24 inches or smaller, may be displayed on the inside of the front window or in the front planter bed. Political signs may not be displayed earlier than 30 days prior to the election and must be removed within 5 days after the election.
I make a motion to adopt the proposed rule in addition to the community guidelines as stated.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we adopt the proposed rule change for political signs. Favor?
Aye.
On pages 174 through 178, this is the revisions to the architectural guidelines and standards, part 4 in total. The guidelines were sent out to the homeowners for 30-day comment. We received a total of 41 responses. 33 were in agreement, 8 were in disagreement.
I make a motion to accept the proposed revisions to the architectural guidelines and standards in total based on the
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt the proposed rule changes to the architectural guidelines. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is page 179, which is the homeowner meet and greet. Jill, you want to come up and give your proposal?
The Bistro Committee is also in partnership with the meet and greets. They're very, very important for the new homeowners. But when Brian and I first moved here 3 years ago, it was completely different. It was still too long, mind you, but everyone kind of sat together. The people of the Bistro Committee sat with the new people. All the committee chairs were there. Instead of on pictures, they were actually there to talk about their different clubs and their different committees, and it was just more interaction. The board members also sat among the new residents. In talking to a lot of the people that have just moved in, they're not sure why we even have a meet and greet, because they don't feel that there's enough. Granted, the part that we read and all is very important, but they get the handout, they get the PowerPoint, and then Jerry or the president reads the rest of it. I think if we hit just the high points, and actually all the committee chairs would be able to speak, and maybe even at the end of the meeting, they could stay at the tables and have a table like for Architecture Bistro, and actually hype it up and get it. Cindy does a great job in the rah-rah thing. I'd like the whole meeting to be really, really upbeat. No cost to us, just a little revamping of how we're going to do it, and maybe cut it down to an hour, actually, with maybe a little time left over to eat Smitty's goods, and they should also be introduced. And also the Bistro Committee should be introduced. One lady came up and thought that I was actually a waitress at Smitty's, and I said, I could do that. So that is all I'm asking, is that we in the Bistro Committee could meet with those that we need to just kind of revamp it and get those committee chairs in there too. Any questions?
I do, Jill. I actually have a question. I understand and support the intent of what you're trying to achieve, but my understanding, and somebody clarify if I'm wrong, is that this is really an HOA event, and so I'm a little confused as why Bistro is taking ownership of an HOA event, and there isn't somebody that manages the HOA event. So if someone can clarify that for me before we proceed, that would be helpful for me.
That's a good question. I had no idea. I just inherited it.
I
And
know.
that's the way it's always been. Cindy, take it away.
We started out with it being an HOA event, and it really was intended to be, and as far as I know, it's still intended to be an informational of what it's like living in an HOA, what is available as far as in the community, and bringing to light some of those things, because as you oftentimes hear, folks don't get out for a little light reading of CC&Rs right after they move in, right? So it kind of hits the high point of what's going on. So it is actually an HOA event that was sponsored, right Bill, wherever you are, that was sponsored by the Bistro and that's kind of like hosting it, okay? To showcase Smitty's yummy food, right? For new homeowners, and they have been the ones that have made the desserts and everything for that. And it used to be, back in the day, that Smitty used to have a new homeowner dinner special. So there was a dinner special, and then there was his desserts and stuff like that, so that newcomers would get an introduction to the Bistro. And so that's how the Bistro Committee ended up taking that over.
I'd like to go back to that, because in the last ones, I've been on the committee now a little over a year and a half, and we have never even introduced, Brian and Kathy. So, I mean, it is a Smitty event that we're trying to promote. So I think, and yeah, I'm not asking that we don't have any information to give them, but maybe the high points, just like several of the chair people thought this was a great idea, and especially in architecture, they said we could hit those points of what they need to do when they first move in, and then just move on to the next committees, and definitely talk about the things. But I think right now, looking at people's pictures as chair people, and instead of actually seeing them, is kind of, they feel like we're over there and they're new. And so I think we need to each sit at one of their tables and chat with them and be right there for them.
So could we suggest that Cindy and Jill get together and put together an agenda for what the new meet and greet should look like, and then present that to us? Because I'm not quite sure what it is I'm trying to...
Having gone to the meeting last night and hearing for the first time that there's a welcome wagon, it got me to thinking that, that's probably the first contact a new homeowner has. And I would put a couple of tickets for Smitty's in the welcome wagon when they go, because that's when they really need to go. They're tired of packing boxes and everything like that. And that's the place where you learn, where do you buy this, where do you get that, how do you do things, it's the very informal, personal type questions, whereas the meet and greet that we had of the new homeowner was kind of more oriented toward, these are the things you have to do. You have to get the gate pass, you have to sign up for this, you have to do that. They were kind of, one was official, but the other one was personal. And I don't think we're coordinated. But you know, I like your ideas, and we're going to do it one way or the other. And the question is, how do we do it?
I also think it's a great place to recruit, you know, because like I say, I've got 7 people in line to be on my committee, and then I hear people say, well, they still don't have anyone. This would be a great way that we do some recruiting. And I also, when you said about Smitty's, I was even going to ask him if we could give away some free little things for their meal before the meet and greet. You know, everybody has to eat. So we can coordinate this to where they actually learn and yet they have fun. And, you know.
Why don't we take a month to kind of talk about it and see if we can coordinate it and decide how we want to do it? Because there are some official type things that the administration needs to do.
Absolutely.
And I'd like to marry it up with the welcome wagon and maybe, you know, help them with that too. Okay?
Great. Well, thank you.
Good idea, good idea.
Next item on the agenda is page 180 through 184, and this is a proposal from the Landscape Committee. Richard?
Thank you, Mary. We last mulched the community 2 years ago. Areas are looking bare and unhealthy. Second item, cost $12,240. Common area, $8,400. Finance Committee recommends approval.
Question, specifically for finance, is this part of the reserve or is this out of expenses? Strictly expenses?
This is landscaping, not reserve.
But expenses, not reserve? Okay.
This is a biannual thing we do. It's for the front yard, it's not the common areas. So they kind of have a routine where every 2 years they do it. And we've been doing it for, I guess, 10 years now that way. So it's nothing new.
And is it a budget expense item?
It is budgeted.
Okay. I make a motion that we accept the proposal for the mulching of the common areas for not to exceed $20,640.
Second.
The move, seconded that we approve a budget of $20,640 for mulch for the front yard cost center. In favor? Aye.
Thank you.
There were 2 proposals.
There were actually two proposals, one from O'Connell Landscape and one from Brad Alms. Is the motion to accept both proposals?
That was my motion, yes.
Okay. Okay, so the next proposal is on page 188 through 192, and this is the replacement of the kangaroo paw plants at the Summit. You're up again, Richard.
Okay. Kangaroo claw plants were initially installed, however, are now deceased. Recommend replacing with Crimson Carpet Rose, cost $1,775. Finance Committee recommends approval.
I move we approve the kangaroo paw plants installation at a cost of $1,000.
Let me ask the question first.
Okay.
Does the builder intend to plant any more kangaroo paw plants? Okay.
Make sure they're
Good.
I have a question.
Yes.
Was the reason they're diseased related in any way to an irrigation issue, under irrigation, over irrigation?
that, whether it would be a combination of quite a few things.
Such as,
We were told whether, just that time.
Brad said they're not adapted to the point we had up there with the summit.
yeah, we took them out at the Springdale a few years back.
Yeah, so they're just not a good plan for the Four Seasons. Do we have a second to the motion?
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been
I would
moved.
probably say, if I could, it probably has a short life expectancy.
It's been moved and seconded that we replace the kangaroo paw plants at the summit at a cost of $1,775. All in favor?
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard.
Okay, our next proposal is on page 193 regarding the dance partner guideline. Carol?
Okay, this is because in our rules that we have, it's stated that if you have an outside paid instructor come into your club, that you cannot have guests from outside. We had the dance members or representatives of their club come and ask that we maybe waive that because they had a problem getting enough gentlemen to come dance with the single females or in the club, and they were losing the female members because they didn't have anybody to dance with. So what we're recommending on that particular one club, that we waive that rule, that they can come in and have an outside adult guest to their club meeting or their dance instruction. They would be paying the cost for the dance instructor just like the residents here.
Question. It specifically states that it has to be a member of this community and that they're guests, period. They can't be two guests from somewhere else coming in.
They have to be invited by a member.
And they have to be here with that member.
Definitely.
Well, I make a motion that we accept this new proposal for the guest dance partners so that our single homeowners, both male and female, if I understood, have someone to dance with.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that we change the rules so that when we have an instructor giving dances in here, that association member may bring in an outside guest for that dance. All in favor?
Aye.
This will go out for 30-day review. It is a rule amendment. Next proposals, page 194 through 199, the gazebo removal and installation, safeties and facilities.
As you know, our gazebos lean port and starboard, depending upon the direction of the wind, the magnetic field of the day, whatever the cause may be. There's a proposal here to replace 4 of them, which would be 3 gazebos in the Springdales. I have the knowledge of, I have watched my mother's lean left and right every other day. It's kind of an interesting experience. One of the Laurels for sale is disrepair, needs to be replaced. Cost of removal of these and then install new kits is $12,500. That's for the, there's actually 2 of them. That's the removal and installation, but you probably should have a slide before to buy them. There we go. 3 gazebos in Springdale's and one of the Laurels for sale and disrepair need to be replaced. The cost and purchase of the 4 kits are $60,499. And you can see just by that one photo alone, that's just the roof. It doesn't count the structure and everything. Now the structure the base still remains the same, the concrete base. These are 16 feet to 16 footers, I guess we'll call them, for the gazebo. So that's where we're at in that particular issue. And with the removal on the first slide that you saw, which would be the reverse, that's where you can buy it, but now it's going to be put together because it's a kit. So the 2 proposals are different. The first one for 60 is to buy them. That's the kit. It's delivered. And then at that point, the second one for 12,000 is now somebody to put it together and make sure everything is hauled away and recycled and that type of thing. Using the base we have now, which are not, to be replaced, so we use the same foundation, for lack of a better phrase. And finance is good. And finance has taken a look at this.
Dennis, I've got a question.
Yes.
Do we know what the cause is? In other words, if it's a bad foundation, is putting a new gazebo on a bad foundation, or is it like they use steel anchor bolts or the stainless steel anchor bolts, or?
It's not so much when you come to the one cause like that, as you can obviously see from the roof. This is also the roof part to the gazebos are breaking up. It seems to be a combination of our environment, which is, I mean, there's not wind here, and there's not sun here. You know, that doesn't exist. It has a tendency, those factors alone have a tendency to put structure problems on these. And if it was just one, you could probably say it was something structural on that one. But 3 of them on the same place in the Springdales, obviously are all leaning and they're in disrepair, and it's a safety issue in and of itself. Now, the cause seems to be the environment that we have. And this is the first time in 10 years, that's a 10-year life we've had on this, which is pretty good. Especially
Is there anything related to warranty on the new?
Well, standard year and all that stuff that goes with it for if it falls down. But, you know, these have lasted 10 years. It's not too bad.
A lot of money.
It is. And there's also a discount with it as long as you buy more than one.
Yes, is there going to be a warranty on these if we continue with putting them up? Is there going to be a warranty on these of some time? Or is this without warranty?
No, there's a warranty, but I believe it's the standard, I believe it's the standard, you know, 1 year we put it in, it's still going to be there type warranty. It's the same manufacturer, so it's, you know, they've lasted 10 years, which is not bad for a structure that's out there by itself. You would think it would last longer, but, you know, it's not made of concrete, it's not made of steel, it's made of this particular prefab stuff that they have out there. But for 10-year life, that's not bad. In fact, the reserve study would have it, I think, about 10. If I remember right. A little less or a little more?
That's another issue, I better talk about that.
Yeah, okay. Because we've discussed this before, that's reason for finance. That's, that's
Question of finance.
Probably.
Should I share the mic?
Sure, please.
Yes,
Because this is something we've discussed at length, and we need to at least cover this.
Yeah, would you please explain the...
This is more than a 2-word response. We spent quite a bit of time in finance on this issue, and total cost is $72,000 for 4 gazebos, and we felt like this was a pretty substantial investment. The value of the aesthetics, the value of having these gazebos in our community is something that we couldn't measure in financial terms. All we had to do was look at it with the dollars and cents, and we thought, wow, this is a lot of money. If there are safety issues, and apparently these things are in such disrepair that they actually do pose a danger to people who are sitting in there on a windy day. So that leads us down to a decision of one of 2 things. You either rebuild them and buy new gazebos, or you eliminate gazebos. We can't have something that's going to create a safety issue with our community members. We went ahead and passed it. Of course, with the board taking a serious look at those 2 options, we went ahead and passed it. The reserve study was grossly underfunded on this particular issue. They had 2 gazebos in our reserve study instead of 4. They had a 30-year life. On it, basically, as we know now, is a 10-year asset. Because in defense of the gentlemen, the people that do a reserve study, you know, they don't know life until the 10 years go by, and I think now they have realized a little better that 30 years is not going to work for a gazebo. So we went ahead and passed it over to the board with a $36,000 charge against current operating funds, basically taking it out of our $147,000 of current profit. And the other half, the philosophy there being they allocated 2 gazebos, even though the life was incorrect, they allocated 2 gazebos on the books, and there is in fact 4. So we expensed a recommended expense of half of $36,500 and reserve for the other $36,500.
In the new reserve study, are we looking at changing that now so it sets up for 4 gazebos?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Anytime we have an item that goes into the reserve study that shows that the previous study was not that accurate or misstated, the first thing we do is make sure that the coming reserve study properly reflects that asset. The old reserve study is basically obsolete already. The new preliminary reserve study we received at the last meeting, and I put out a challenge to the finance committee members that we all go through individually and look for items that we think, even though we're not experts on asset values, we've all been around long enough where hopefully we can spot some items that may need adjustment before the final reserve study is completed for next year. And we'll be attacking that at our next meeting. For those of you who are ready to come and join us at the next meeting, plan on staying a while. Did I answer that for you?
Yes, you did. I'd like to make a recommendation because I have walked the gazebo, I have looked at all the gazebos, and specifically in the Springdales, they are in terrible shape, and I wouldn't want to sit under one of them. So I would like to recommend, or I would like to make a motion that we accept the recommendation from the Finance Committee, that part of it is expense and part of it is reserve, and that we replace all 4 of them.
Let me offer a suggestion. Why don't we ask the people in the Springdales if they need 3 gazebos? Before, tell them what the cost is. And they will pay for it along with all the rest of us. But if they think they can get by with 1 gazebo, and of course the one in Laurel Paseo is kind of more for everybody, maybe we can reduce the cost by a considerable amount. But if they insist that they need 3 gazebos, then we'll come back to it.
At this point, Dennis, do we feel like we should put a sign around them saying they're not safe right now? Or should we just wait another month? Do you feel we could wait another month till we put this out to the community?
You can wait another month. They just move with the wind.
Can we give them back to the...
I'll take that back against the recommendation. I make a motion that we have this come back in a month with some input from the people. And then my next question is, how are we going to get that input? I mean, I made the motion first that we postpone it till next month.
You don't need a motion.
Yeah.
We can just
My
request
second question is, how are we going to get the input from, how do we propose to get the input from the people that live in the Springdales?
We can
prepare a communication list of the Springdale homeowners and have them return it to us.
Okay.
We have block captains.
Okay.
In the meantime, we can tell the builder to come take back his gazebo.
Just keep in mind that part of these bid issues you have are for a lot.
Yeah.
A lot being X amount of gazebos that one purchases.
Right.
Singular.
Yeah, and that's why I say let's ask them. Are they in that much use? And I know they are being used because I've seen people in them. But are they in that much use that each little cul-de-sac feels that they need their own gazebo? If they do, fine, and we'll address that. But I'd like to make sure that they buy into what we're doing.
it's not an issue, it's not a difficult issue, we can do that.
Yeah.
But let's do one thing, let's not take that long with that study.
No, 1 month.
I personally would not want to keep it in abeyance for like 3 months or something
No,
like
no.
that. Let's try
30
to get some
30
feedback
days.
so we can get back to you soon.
Yeah.
I just want to add one quick statement for you to keep in mind. We do have a separate Springdale HOA account for the condo project, but this is a common area.
Yeah.
This is not actually Springdale money. This
Right.
is a common area, general HOA funds to use.
Yeah.
Okay, our next,
It's the Springdale budget versus reserve versus the master budget.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is to review and act upon the dog station service proposal. Dennis? It's on page 208 of your packet.
We have, well,
Okay, you have the dog station, the current handyman services, the dog station proposal would be to switch to a janitorial vendor. And the proposed cost is $1,072 per month versus $3,044 in current. So it's a little less than it takes care of.
is the activity that they do the same? I mean, the frequency, and that includes the bags and,
Yeah, so we're told, yes.
yeah, service is the same.
Yeah. And obviously we need it. I'll put that in.
Does that include additional dog stations?
Right now, this is what's proposed here, what you have for you.
There's a question as to
Current.
there's a question as to whether or not this included additional dog
This is
stations.
for
It does not.
the current service we have. The additionals, you mean like additionals for what we're responsible for, or additionals for?
We add more stations.
Station. No, this is just for what we have currently.
Well, it looks like a savings to me, so I'm going to make a motion that we accept the change and the switch to the janitorial vendor versus the current vendor that we have for a cost of $1,072 versus the $1,344 we're currently paying.
Second.
It's been proposed and seconded that we change the vendor or the service agreement at a cost from $1,072 a month to $1,344 a month.
Vice versa.
Vice versa, yeah. We reduced the cost from $1,344 to $1,072 a month. All in favor?
Aye. Next proposal's on page 210, and this is the renovation to the RCN fountain at the front of the 1528 Four Seasons Circle building. Dennis?
We had discussed this in the past. There was a proposal originally some time ago to replace that particular fountain, but there seems to be we were in some disagreement when it came to the cost item on it. And in keeping with the basis of cost, we elected to go with another direction as actually demoing this particular fountain, and we'll go from there. We'll put a planter somewhere down the line, but this is to take that out. Because right now the repair of it is just, it would be way too costly to replace as is and costly to put another fountain in. And in the reference when it comes to water saving these days, water's water. Has a cost issue. So the fountain in the RCN enters as a needed repair. Initial renovation bid came to $30,000. Safety Facilities Committee recommended demolition of the fountain and turned over area to Landscape Committee so they can figure out what they want to put in there that's more eye-pleasing. At least that was our idea. The cost is $3,000. It's labor and dog fees and picking all the infrastructure up that's to it within the bottom part, and that's what's before you right now. And the Finance Committee has put their stamp of approval on that particular item.
Question, Dennis, so they take out the fountain, they leave bare dirt. The fountain is not currently on a timer, but if landscaping goes in, the water supply that's capped off will need a timer. So is this gonna generate other things downstream? Other requests downstream other than just landscape comes in and plants some plants? Is it cradle to grave? There's no timer on the fountain.
There is a timer on the
There is a
fountain.
timer.
There is a
Okay, then
timer.
that would meet the need of the landscape. Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
The plumbing might have to be altered depending on how they landscape it.
Yeah, they would tweak that. Okay, that's in mind.
That's proposal before you basically in a nutshell is to take it out, to remove it. And have landscape take it over at whatever further ideas, and that's down the line.
I make a motion that we go ahead and accept it as proposed.
Second.
It's been proposed and seconded that we remove the fountain in front of the Rec Center North building at a cost of $3,000 for labor and dump fees. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the next proposals on pages 213 and 214 for extended janitorial hours. Vince?
With the implementation of the new lodge hours, it impacts the janitorial service. Obviously, you have more time now. It's moving those particular services around for cleaning and that type of issue. The cost has increased to $2,127 to contract per month. The Finance Committee does not put their stamp of approval on this because it's not within a budget item area. There's no additional line item. Might have been the same ballpark with that.
We're over budget.
Over budget. So in janitorial. So this would have to be a board decision at that point. Because right now it's Monday through Friday, all cleaning is scheduled to start at 6 a.m. and they work 8 hours and that leaves you leaving at 2:30. All about cleaning and the extending of hours Monday through Friday, starting at 5 p.m. working 12 hours and leaving at 5:30 p.m. So it's basically a 12-hour work period within there. That's what this additional cost would be.
Will we have the same issue at the summit when we extend the hours?
That's a good question. I'm not sure that that would come within it right now. We haven't explored that for the summit. Summit seems to be able to take care of itself at this point.
Yeah, I guess I'm a little perplexed as to why.
The reason why it's not impacting the summit is because when they're cleaning, they are not interfering with activities. What's happening now is when All About Cleaning comes in at 6 a.m., they are impacting the people that are using the workout center. Okay, so what they would normally do is come in and clean the restroom facilities, the workout center at 6 a.m., from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. while it was still closed. Now they're having to do it while the homeowners are there actually using the facility, and it's impacting the homeowners' use of the facility.
They're there anyway.
Don't they usually put up the little triangle thing that says stay out?
This is based on homeowner complaints that are received about the impact.
I was just going to
Go at home.
I was just going to add that this is from homeowners asking for, janitorial services not to be present when they're doing their particular workouts and things of that nature. Now, the summit kind of takes care of itself, especially for the restrooms and things at this point. At least that's been my experience to answer their question about the summit. But for this particular issue, it's we're asking about the janitorial services for the lodge area for $2,127 per contract, and that's to lengthen to add hours on, so they're cleaning basically when there's not people present at particular areas, working out like the gym and things like that.
So there's no way we can reschedule the actual process with which they use to clean so that it accommodates areas where we're not using the facilities that they can clean while we're not using them, and then go back and clean other areas when we are using them.
Could be. But I'm saying this is a proposal for you is to do those hours. Either that or you could have them try to switch around their service times for different service areas.
there will be an impact on somebody. Just to let you know, because if we were to back up the hours starting at 5 a.m. and they may work until say 1:30, because they're currently on an 8-hour schedule, then we are going to impact somebody. We're trying to really get away from the spa building because that seems to create an issue. If they're cleaning the restrooms, they're in the ladies' restroom and it's a man, the ladies can't go in and use the facility, or they can't clean around the machines while somebody's on them. So the real impact with moving the schedule to 5 a.m. and ending at 1:30, we will impact somebody in this facility or in one of these rooms, because in order to clean every single room, somebody's going to be impacted on that.
So you're basically increasing from 8 hours to 12 hours.
Is this an annual contract or a monthly contract?
It's an annual contract. This would be per month, it would increase that contract per month.
And that's per month, that's 2,127 per month. Because you're asking for a 12-hour, you're asking for 8 to 12 hours increase.
I don't know.
That's a lot of money. I'd rather see them slide the hours and take a look at what's happening later in the day. What I'm saying, Dennis, what I just said was, I'd rather take a chance right now on sliding the hour up earlier using the same staff, and then take a look later on if it's impacting anything later in the day. But not to approve the additional funds.
So what you're asking for is still the 8 hours, just switching the hours around.
And save the $2,000.
Now, you can see what the impact would be later on, but somewhere along the line, I think the regional manager is trying to tell you that somewhere along the line, there's an impact when it comes to hours and the facilities where you're at and the people who are in different places in different parts of the facility. It's left up to the board.
Can I state, we're looking at now increasing hour rate based upon the California requirements, going to $15 per hour. Therefore, this would be a larger increase than the $2,100.27 a month. I don't know what it actually would, we may look at that right now, but going into next year, if you increase the 12 hours, then you're increasing that twice as, quite a bit more because of the new increase in the hourly rate. So I would vote no on it.
Okay, but it's a contract, so we would negotiate a contract for that rate for the new year, right? So my question is, I know there's not a budgeted amount now in the specific line item. Is there money in the general fund, or are we pretty close to no money?
No, there's no line item for this.
We have a janitorial line item, and it's presently $15,700 over budget.
And that's now.
This would be an additional $24,000 a year over budget.
Because you would go from 8,068.25 per month to 10,195 per month, 25 cents. So what you're doing is getting an increase here roughly about 2,127. Again, that's what the board has to make up their mind. Do you want to have an increase from 8 hours to 12 hours for cleaning, or do you want to keep it at its current 8, which we have now, and see if it can be juggled for work hours? I mean, that's the only other way of getting around it, in a particular place where you want it. And I can't hear what people are doing.
So my motion would be that we actually keep the current 8-hour structure, try to adjust the hours, look at the impact over a 30-day period, and then come back and reassess this.
You don't need a motion. We'll just
No, you don't need a
make,
motion.
we'll just make the
Whatever it
changes.
is.
Give me a next one.
Thank you, Dennis. Our next one is, you're done.
I'm done.
You're done. All right, so our next one is on, our next proposal is on page 215 and 216. And a little bit of background is, per our governing documents, we're required to have an annual inspection of our common area amenities. And it is required for our CCNRs. We have used ProTech Solutions every year to complete this inspection. Their proposal for this year is $1,200. And we are recommending acceptance of the proposal.
I make a recommendation to accept the proposal for the CCNR's call for annual inspection, not to include properties.
I got a question first.
A
How does this
second
compare
first.
to,
I need a second first, and then we can have a discussion.
I'll second it.
Great. All right, you're on, Fred.
how does this compare to last year's cost? How does
Exactly
it-
the same. The
Exactly
same, the cost is exactly the same as last year.
Okay, so it hasn't gone up then?
Correct.
Okay.
Is the summit included?
The summit is included. It was $900 for the common area and then $300 for the summit.
Okay. It's been proposed and seconded that we fund the annual inspection of a cost of $1,200. All in favor?
Aye.
That's the end of the proposals.
Okay. So, we're ready to adjourn?
So the next meeting is Thursday, September 8th, 2016 at 1 p.m. here in the Lodge Ballroom. I look forward to seeing everybody here.